Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel Indian Life German Way. Do you know, as of July 2026, there are roughly 3 million people who are registered as unemployed with Agentur für Arbeit. What is Agentur für Arbeit? It is the German unemployment agency. And this means roughly 6.4% of the German population is currently marked as unemployed or who have registered with this agency. In this video, I would like to share my personal experiences when you have a job loss in Germany. Couple of years ago, I was working for a leading bank here in Germany and I was laid off. In this video, I want to share my honest personal experiences, my personal journey, how I felt when I was fired, what were the different steps that I had to take, and I want to give you a step-by-step breakdown of all the different aspects that can help you figure out and understand what you should be doing in case the situation comes. As I was working for a leading bank here in Germany, I was employed there for almost 10 months. And all of a sudden, one morning, I remember that I received an invite from HR, and I was really surprised. Why is HR inviting me to a phone call? And I think around 10 a.m. in the month of April, I had this call, and I was informed that I would be laid off. Yeah. So this leading bank, they decided to terminate around 80 positions or 88 positions in Germany. And it's important to know that all these companies, or most of the German companies, they do have a Betriebsrat, which is a workers' council. And so I had this call, and they informed me that I would be laid off. And I was also informed that during the day I would receive some sort of contract on my personal email address. And in case we want to raise any concerns, then we can do so. Um, so after receiving this call, I was completely baffled, and I didn't really know what to do. And I was just planning or thinking about what should I do, what can be my next steps. And what I realized was that the company, they also triggered cancellation of all my email addresses, work email, and everything. So I was not able to log in into my business or into my company accounts. I was not able to access emails or whatever. So I was completely, all my accesses were revoked. Yeah. And that was a complete shock to me. And in the afternoon, I remember that I received this Behebungsvertrag. It's like it's a termination contract, mutual termination contract, that had a lot of conditions in it. So let's talk about the Aufhebungsvertrag. So what kind of conditions did I receive as part of this contract? As part of this Aufhebungsvertrag, I was told that because as I said, so all my access rights were revoked immediately, and I was laid off with immediate effect. And the company offered me, because I was working there for 9 months, they offered me like 1.5 months of salary. Plus, they gave me 3 months of garden leave because I had a notice period of 3 months. So, what garden leave meant was that I do not need to work. I will get 3 months of salary every month, like usual, and I don't need to do anything. So, that was inside. Plus, there was also 3 months of severance pay. So severance pay, it was 3 months salary. So in total, I was receiving around 7.5 months of salary after being terminated right away. And then I was given a timeline. I think so. If I remember, so I was given a timeline of about 1 week to sign this contract and then close this chapter with. So I have the option to sign this contract, or I can then decide to go and take a legal route if I wanted. So guys, after reviewing the Aufhebungsvertrag and all the conditions, I came to the conclusion that since the company was offering me around 7.5 months of salary, and I worked there only for 8 to 9 months, and we had a small child, so we decided not to take any legal actions, and I decided after consulting with my family that I would like to take the offer. Yeah, and it's much better to take the money. I had 3 months of time to search for new jobs, and I thought, okay, it makes much much more sense for me to take the conditions as is, and then we decided to accept the Aufhebungsvertrag. As a very next step, that's most important, is the very next day, I reached out to the Agentur für Arbeit here in Wuppertal, and I registered myself, and I informed them about the Aufhebungsvertrag. I shared a copy with them, and informed them that my employer has terminated my work contract, and here is the mutual termination agreement, and I registered myself as jobless, and I also registered myself for job search. So guys, this is the most important step, that as soon as you get to know that your contract is terminated or you left a job, you need to inform the Agentur für Arbeit or the unemployment agency within 3 working days. So in Wuppertal, I had no idea how I can do it online, so I went directly to the offices. So when I registered at the Agentur für Arbeit for the first time, I received the online credentials for the mobile app. And the next step was that I go home, and then I go to the portal. I can download the mobile app, and then I can log into the portal. Then I need to fill this application for the job, for the Arbeitslosgeld, yeah, which is for the job, for the money that I get once I'm unemployed. So in this case, I also want to quickly highlight that I had a valid blue card which was running until few years, so I had no issues in terms of valid residence permit or that sort. So and I had submitted all my documents, and I went to the online portal, and I submitted whatever it requested, and I applied for the Arbeitslosgeld. Filling the application online, after a couple of weeks, I remember I received a questionnaire from the Agentur für Arbeit, and the questionnaire and the reason for sending this questionnaire is basically the Agentur für Arbeit wants to know why this contract is terminated, why you had to leave your job, what's the reason of the job loss, and the biggest thing that they want to decide with the help of this questionnaire is something called as Sperrzeit. Yeah, and Sperrzeit is basically a duration of 3 months when there might be scenarios that you might not get the Arbeitslosgeld or the job loss benefits. So I mean, since this was a massive hiring in my company, there was also, we were in regular contact. We had a WhatsApp group with Betriebsrat, with the working council members, and they were constantly helping all the colleagues with different scenarios. And as soon as I received this questionnaire, it was all in German. Yeah, I also shared it with my colleagues in the group, and then luckily the colleagues from the Betriebsrat helped me fill this questionnaire, and we had to answer the Agentur für Arbeit why, and yeah, why we lost the job, or what is the reason for not going to job, and so on. So we had to explain this. There were some 4-5 questions asking about different scenarios, and we answered this questionnaire. And after a few weeks, then I received the final letter from the Agentur für Arbeit that that I was not considered for any Sperrzeit, meaning that I would receive the Arbeitslosgeld benefits from day one. Yeah. So I received a letter with daily wage rate or daily rate that I will receive as a compensation, as a benefit. And I just want to quickly mention that this daily day rate that is determined is dependent on the last 30 months of your salaries. So the Agentur für Arbeit, they're asking about Arbeitsbescheinigung from your current employer, also from your previous employers, and they have a data of your monthly salaries, yearly salaries, and then they are calculating. They take the average of last 30 salaries, and then they come to a daily rate that you should get as as the Arbeitslosgeld. What's important is that since we had a child, I was offered a 65% of my last salary, which is the sum of or average of these 30 months. So now talking about the benefits when they started. So as I said, I was laid off in April, and then I had 3 months in addition. So May, June, July. So ideally, my contract was terminating end of July. Therefore, the Arbeitslosgeld benefits, they started from 1st August. Yeah, and right after So during this time, I also received one-to-one sessions or interviews with the Agentur für Arbeit. So normally, you are assigned a case officer or case manager, and they are responsible. So they need to talk to you to help you in any way possible, so that you are able to find a job faster. Yeah, and so right before I got this letter about the amounts and everything, I had already one interview, I think. And so I was sent I received an email. So I received a post office communication that I have an interview, and I went to meet this case officer at the Agentur für Arbeit. Please do keep this in mind. This all this communication with Agentur für Arbeit is held in German, and therefore, if you don't speak German, it's you need to take someone who speaks German on your behalf, or a translator. During the first meeting, they are always asking you to bring some documents, like this Aufhebungsvertrag, and then they're asking for your CVs or testimonials, some certificates, all the stuff. I took all the printouts with me, but they did not ask really for any of these documents. So, what are the different benefits that you can expect from the case officer? So, one of the benefits is that you get regular job postings or Empfehlungen, or like job recommendations on the portal from the Agentur für Arbeit. But most of these jobs are in German, and may or may not be fitting your profile as is. Secondly, is they discuss and ask you about yeah, if you're regularly applying for jobs, if you had certain interviews, and so they just want to be, let's say, updated on the job hunting side of things. And then the next thing is they always offer you for German language courses if you are interested. And I was offered a B1 level of B1 classes actually. And then I had to go and contact some of the schools. They give you a certificate, you take that and you go to a school, and basically you can get German language courses, which are then paid by the Agentur für Arbeit. Yeah. Apart from that, you might, or you can also ask for some additional trainings that you think might help you in your area. Again, these can be a little bit tricky and depends on exactly your profile, how much it costs, and all that stuff. I mean, I spoke about this, to be honest, but I never had the yeah, I never looked really deep into it and never tried to find something. So guys, I had, I think, 2 or 3 such meetings with the case officer until I was able to find a job. And as soon as you find a job, you need to inform the Agentur für Arbeit that you found a job, and so that they can update that in their systems. Apart from that, the case officer also told me that I need to inform them in case I am going on vacations, because they also need to put it in their systems, because one of the reasons is that the insurance is then paid by the Agentur für Arbeit as you're no longer working, and the Agentur für Arbeit takes care of your insurances and all that stuff. Therefore they need to know also about your medical illnesses. They need to know about your vacations, and all those things. So guys, let's quickly talk about the benefits that I received. So I was receiving the garden leave from my company for the period May, June, July, and right from August I started receiving the Arbeitslosgeld. So there was no real, let's say, a salary break. I mean, of course, I was receiving less salary from August onwards, which was 65% of my last 30 months average salary, but then it was continuous. So on top, as I said, the insurance is paid by the Agentur für Arbeit, so there was no break also in terms of my insurance. And then I also received the language course option to continue with my language, German language courses. One important thing I want to mention here is that I had a valid blue card, and in the previous days I was already dependent on my partner, and I had no real issues in terms of the pays. Yeah, so I was receiving a regular monthly Arbeitslosgeld, and I received it for around 6 to 8 months, I remember, before I found a new job. And because I keep hearing a lot of people saying that okay, they only get 3 months of Arbeitslosgeld, because then the blue card is becoming sort of invalid. But that didn't happen to me. I don't know what's the reason behind this, and to be honest, yeah, I thought maybe I was also dependent on my partner. So my partner was still here, we were both working, so maybe that's why I never faced such challenges or issues. So guys, that was my honest experience so far. I had one termination situation when I was laid off. And I hope this experience and the different things I've just mentioned in my video help you someday. The video is not to scare you, but to give you realistic expectations and what are the realistic steps you need to take so that you are prepared when such bad time happens or comes. I mean, this whole experience was devastating, but luckily, the support from Agentur für Arbeit is definitely helping you when you are when you are depressed and when you have the some things not going your way. You at least have the case workers who are working with you, and you get regular monetary benefits. That's definitely a plus, and I really appreciate that from the Agentur für Arbeit. Yeah, so I hope this video give you some insights and help you in some way. If you like the video, please do consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my YouTube channel, and I will come back with a new video soon. Till then, have a nice one. Bye.